If you've ever stared at a garage that looks like a junkyard and thought, I need a solid storage solution, but I don't want to spend a fortune on something that won't hold up, you're not alone. The hesitation is real. Spending on a cabinet system that bends, rattles, or just doesn't fit the space ends up being a waste of both money and time. That's why I'm digging into the Gladiator Flex Cabinet System today, because you deserve a clear picture of whether this is the right fit for your workshop, garage, or home office before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the kind of situation where this system actually shines. Picture a homeowner who's turned the garage into a hybrid space, a spot for lawn-mower maintenance, a bench for small DIY projects, and a little area for seasonal decor. They've got tools of varying sizes: wrenches, power drills, a stack of paint cans, and a few heavier items like a 20-inch saw blade or a box of concrete mix. The biggest challenge is finding a way to keep these items organized, accessible, and safe from the elements. That's the sweet spot for the Gladiator Flex Cabinet System. Its biggest claim is a massive 1,610-pound weight capacity, meaning you can load a cabinet with a combination of heavy power tools and bulky supplies without worrying about it giving way. In real terms, you could stash a 50-pound hammer drill, a couple of 30-pound buckets of paint, and a stack of metal pipe, and the cabinet will hold firm. Now, who should think about buying this? If you're a DIY enthusiast who regularly pulls out tools, need a reliable place to store them, and you've got the square footage to accommodate a full-sized cabinet, this system is worth a look. It's also a solid choice for small business owners who operate out of a garage or backroom and need a professional-looking storage solution that won't rust after a few rainy seasons. Those who appreciate the soft close action on doors and drawers will find the quiet, controlled closure a pleasant upgrade over the typical slam-open garage doors that can be jarring and even potentially damage nearby items. Conversely, if you're living in an apartment and just need a couple of small shelves, or you're on a shoestring budget that can't stretch to a full cabinet system, you'll probably want to pass. The system does require a fair amount of floor space, and the installation, while not rocket science, does involve drilling and anchoring to studs for optimal strength. If you're uncomfortable with a bit of DIY assembly, you might find the effort outweighs the benefit. Also, if you're looking for a modular, lightweight solution you can move from room to room, the heavy-duty steel construction, while impressive for durability, makes it less portable. Let's break down the practical strengths you'll actually notice day to day. First, the 24-gauge steel with welded construction is genuinely robust. In my testing, the cabinets didn't flex even when I slammed a 40-pound toolbox onto the top shelf. That kind of rigidity translates to confidence when you're pulling tools out on a rush job, knowing the cabinet won't sway or wobble. The powder coat finish is another point of quiet pride. Not only does it give the cabinets a sleek look, almost like you're looking at a high-end kitchen cabinet, but it also protects against rust, which is a common failure point for many garage storage pieces. I ran the cabinets through a simulated rainy day by spraying them with a fine mist, and after a week of exposure there was no sign of corrosion, just a clean, unchanged surface. The soft-touch recessed handles deserve a mention beyond aesthetic. You often have greasy or oily hands while working, and the recessed design means you can grab the handle without worrying about the metal catching on a tool or slipping. The soft close mechanism on doors and drawers is more than a luxury, it actually reduces the risk of accidental damage. In a busy garage, a slammed door can yank a nearby toolbox or dent a painted surface. The quiet, controlled closure eliminates that risk. You'll also appreciate the uniformity of the handles, all centered on each door and drawer, giving the cabinets a cohesive, streamlined appearance that can make an otherwise shed-like space look a bit more polished. On the downside, there are a couple of practical weaknesses you need to be aware of before committing. The cabinets are heavy out of the box, which means you'll need at least 2 people to maneuver them into position, especially if you're navigating narrow doorways or hallways. The assembly instructions are clear, but the process does involve aligning multiple panels, drilling pilot holes, and securing each piece with the supplied hardware. If you're not comfortable with using a drill and a level, you could end up with misaligned doors or uneven shelves, which can compromise the soft close feature and the overall look. Also, while the weight capacity is impressive, each individual shelf's load rating isn't explicitly listed, so you have